everyone. I hope that you can see me. I am Mrs. Hollington. I am the coordinator for Gifted and Talented in Orangeburg County School District. And we were waiting just a few moments so that we could have our very own assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction to bid you all welcome and just to discuss a few of the district's curriculum and instruction goals with you as they relate to gifted and talented education across the county. It is wonderful to see all of your lovely faces, but at this time, so that we can make the most of our bandwidth that we do have, you can actually remain muted and you can turn off your videos. You can make sure that your video is off, and that will help us to make sure that we have as seamless a presentation as possible. And I have my co-host here. So Ms. Timex will let me know if Ms. Carter Sims is able to arrive to the meeting. But we're going to get started. Okay, the outline for this evening. As I stated, we do not have Ms. Carter Sims with us, but we will continue with the meeting tonight. I will present a program overview, and then we will have a presentation from April Smith, who is our lead teacher for elementary schools. And then we will have a presentation from Audrey Irick and Amanda Steinmetz, who are itinerant teachers for us this year in Orangeburg County School District. Ms. Irick, you will notice in a moment when I show you her lovely photo, is serving as the middle school's lead teacher. And then the lovely Miss Amanda Steinmetz is serving as the lead teacher for talent development. Following that, we will have a presentation about competitions, creative as well as academic, coming from our lead teachers, Ms. Tamu Nilamti and Mr. John Ott. Then we'll end with questions and we'll close for the evening. We won't keep you too long. The purpose of this meeting is just to let you know who we are, parents. We are so grateful that you are here with us, as well as students who may not have seen my face just yet because we're virtual. This is a new normal. Just wanted to let you know who I am and that I am in service to you this year. Okay, the lead teacher for elementary schools is Miss April Smith. She presently teaches at Edisto Elementary School. Say hello, Miss Smith.
Hello, everyone.
Our lead teacher for middle schools is Miss Audrey Irick.
Good evening, everyone.
Ms. Irick serves as an itinerant teacher in the district. We also have our lead teacher for talent development, Ms. Amanda Steinmetz, who also serves as an itinerant teacher for the district.
Good evening, everybody.
We have Mr. John Ott. He's an itinerant teacher as well in the district. He will be our lead teacher for academic competitions. Mr. Ott? I think he is saying hello.
Looking forward to a great year.
All right. And then we have the lovely Miss Tamu Nilamti. She works this year at William J. Clark Middle School, serving our 6th, 7th grade gifted split. She's a lead teacher for creative competitions. Ms. Nilamti?
Good evening, everybody.
Oh,
Emphasis on the lovely.
Lovely. Yes, yes, very lovely. Thank you. And then coming soon, we have a social emotional focus that will take place for Gifted and Talented, and that will be led by our very own Ms. Denise Brown Johnson. She is also an itinerant teacher for Orangeburg County.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
All right. Okay, we couldn't show you all the teachers from across the county, but I wanted you to know who was leading this instructional team this year. Thank you, ladies and gent, for being willing to serve. Why would you contact a lead teacher? If you wanted to review or request a gifted profile, every student state identified who's with us or high achiever, you will have a gifted profile. It will show all of your test data, when you were identified. If you have screening yet to take part in, that will be a part of your gifted profile. So you could contact a lead teacher if you need to request a gifted profile or if you just want to review your gifted profile. If you have curriculum concerns, you can reach out to one of your lead teachers. Of course, the elementary lead teacher would assist you. That would be our grades 3 through 5, Mrs. April Smith. And then our lead teacher could assist you at the middle level with the middle schools. That will be grades 6 through 8, and that will be Mrs. Audrey Irick. GT competitions. I just introduced you to those lead teachers for the academic and the creative competitions. If you have questions about that, your child decides to sign up for some of these great competitions that we'll share this evening, then you would contact one of those lead teachers. If there's a field experience, we know we're not heading out beyond the walls of the school when we actually do return to the schools, but there will be virtual field experiences, so you can contact lead teachers concerning that if you have any questions. And then if there are just any general questions, concerns, you don't know where to go and you feel comfortable speaking with a lead teacher, by all means, give them a call or shoot them an email and they will get back with you as soon as they possibly can. I would like you to keep in mind that these teachers are still teaching classes, so they have students and they're taking on these responsibilities as additional responsibilities. So hats off to them and kudos. Thank you so much for your help, team. Let's get into this. Our school year goals, 2020, 2021. We had to really rethink these goals because COVID has placed us in a new position this year. However, our departmental goals, goal number 1 is that students will consistently use academic language when participating in discussions, debates, and presentations. Academic language, of course, is aligned with our standard formal English, but it also means that a student would know the terms of the content. If you're in a science class and you need to ask or request for a beaker, you would not say, give me that little tubey thing. You would say beaker, okay? So we're just talking about language that goes with the content that the student is studying. If they're in math class, they would speak as a mathematician would speak. If they're in a history class, they would speak as a historian would speak. Our second goal is that we expand offerings of creative and academic competitions, and that is underway. So those are our 2 goals for the department this year. This is how your child or all of our students got here. We always ask the question, how did I get here? So each year I'm required by regulation of the state 43-220 to make sure that I tell my parents or inform you, how did your child get here if you don't already know? So I'm going to move through this quickly because of course your child is already identified or your child is a high achiever. And I know you've spoken with your teachers concerning what that means. Remember this though, once identified gifted and talented, once you are identified gifted and talented, you are always identified gifted and talented. But it has to be by meeting the state's criteria for gifted and talented identification. What is that criteria? A student must meet in 2 out of 3 dimensions. The first dimension, dimension A, is reasoning abilities. The test that we use to assess students' reasoning abilities is the cognitive abilities test. You know that we usually administer that test around October, November of each year. Your child made it here because he or she scored at the 93rd percentile or higher for this dimension's assessment in either verbal, nonverbal, quantitative, or their total score. Or their total score was at least at the 93rd percentile or higher. A student can also auto-qualify at the 96th percentile or higher. If a student scores at the 96th percentile or higher, that student does not need to take part in any further testing. They become state identified. That's why it's called the auto-qualifier. So that's one dimension. The second dimension, dimension B, is achievement. We use the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, often referred to as Iowa or ITBS. We use that to assess the achievement levels of the students, first in reading and then in math concepts and problem solving. The student must score at the 94th percentile or better or higher in order to say that they have met Dimension B. Now, for Dimension A or Dimension B, let me go back to that. The student does not have to meet in all of the areas, verbal, nonverbal, and quantitative. And here, reading and math, it's an either or, just one area of that dimension. A student must score at that percentile level or better, and then the student has met that dimension. So if the student so far has met dimension A and has met dimension B, then we say that student is state identified, gifted, and talented. Okay. However, if a student met A but not B or vice versa, then the student would move on to dimension C. Students in grades 2 through 5 have an opportunity to take part in performance tasks assessments. A little different type of assessment where a teacher is involved, actually providing instruction. New material students may never have seen before, but they are taught for a little bit, and then they're tested or assessed for a little bit, and students have to create or perform for different tasks that are presented. Okay, in grades 2 and 3, it's called the primary performance tasks. And a student in the second grade would have to score 16 or better for verbal, or 16 or better for nonverbal, one or the other, to say that that student has met for dimension C. Third graders, verbal would be an 18 or better, nonverbal an 18 or better, to say that the student has met in either one of those areas for dimension C. And then you can see here that the points are given again for grades 4 and 5. So what happens if you met A, but you did not meet B, you went to C, and you did not meet C? Then, of course, that student is taken out of that pool um, as far as gifted identification for that year. However, the student could still be a high achiever. So we keep that list of students who we call MET 1. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But if the student met A and C or B and C, then the student is state identified. Now, when the student goes to middle school, it changes just a little bit. So really it's fifth grade going to sixth grade. Then we can actually look for Dimension C, intellectual or academic performance. We could actually look at grade point average. Okay. The grade point average for the student in English language arts, science, social studies, mathematics. If there is a foreign language, a year-long foreign language, that would be included. But the grade point average for those core academic disciplines would be considered for Dimension C, so the student could help them meet Dimension C, I'm sorry, if they're rising sixth graders through rising eighth graders. Well, rising 12th graders, actually. So they would have to have a GPA of 3.75 or higher on a 4.0 scale in order for Dimension C to be taken into consideration to help them meet the 2 out of the 3 dimensions for state identification. Here are a few of the expectations for our students this year. Please pay close attention to these, parents and students. The first expectation is that you learn, analyze, synthesize, and manipulate knowledge and skills. The important thing is that you see these expectations. The other very extremely important thing is that your teachers know, they know what these expectations mean, and that everything they plan for you, all of your experiences, all of your learning and assessments would be based upon these expectations. Think critically, not surface. Budget time effectively and efficiently. That's extremely important now, especially in the age of when we're doing a lot of virtual learning and soon maybe blended learning. Budget your time effectively and then use that time. Make the best use of that time. So you want to budget it efficiently. Develop effective study skills. Develop the advanced content area vocabulary. That's lots of reading, knowing your lexile levels, and just reading great books, especially the classics. Okay. Utilize community and industry resources, develop multimedia and oral presentation skills, and maintain, this is it, this is especially important, maintain a grade of 80 or better in your core classes. Again, I tell you, your core classes are English language arts, mathematics, social studies, and science. If you have a foreign language year long, then that would be included. So those are expectations, something for you to rise to the standard of.
After the mid-Aubrey.
Trial placement. I've been receiving lots of questions about trial placement. Here are some other words you could hear tossed out there when we're talking about trial placement. MET 1, local, high achiever. The State Department of Education requires that we have or allows us to have trial placement for students who are considered high achievers. Now, in Orangeburg County School District, our high achievers are all students who have met in one area or one dimension of the screening process for gifted and talented. So they either met dimension A or dimension B. And in some instances, they may have met dimension C. So those students are given an opportunity to take part in the special class model. Rarely in the pullout model, but especially in the special class model, because we want to make sure that we're providing that opportunity. That opportunity lasts for one grading period or for 1 year at the most. The student must meet, this is the huge point right here, the second star. The student must meet the state identification criteria to continue in the program the following school year. There is no guarantee that a trial placed or a high achieving student would automatically be placed the next year. But we didn't want to not provide the opportunity for students who we feel could benefit from that instruction. And most students reach or attain state identification when they put in that work. When they put in that work and actually focus on what first things first, we get them there to state identification. All right. High achievers are offered that opportunity to participate in advanced classes, and it's all based on enrollment numbers. Okay, so if the enrollment numbers at a specific site where we have special class model, the enrollment numbers are low of state identified students, then we want to open, we don't want just the kids sitting there themselves, 10 or 15 of them. We want to open up those additional 5 to 10 seats to high achieving students. Still leaving a little wiggle room for any students who are new and may move into the district, because we don't want to overcrowd that class. We do have regulations for that as well. So if a student is a high achiever, a little bit later, Mrs. Smith will talk about what must happen for high achievers before they take part in the class. Okay, students and parents, let's say that you're struggling. Your teacher notices your grades are slipping. There is a process that we have in place that's called mid-year review. It may be new to some of you, but remember, you can always ask questions of me or of the lead teacher for your grade band, elementary or middle, if you have questions about anything that we're discussing. And this presentation or recording will be available for you as well in Canvas. And each of your teachers will have a copy of this. I'll make sure I push this out to them. Okay. So mid-year review, what leads to a review? Low test scores. Underachievement, that means the academic performance in class. Even a parent request. A parent may request that we have a mid-year review. We hold one for their child because they really want to get a closer look at how the child is performing. Now that one doesn't happen too often, but it can happen. And then what are the results of a review? A student is placed on an academic probation plan. A mid-year review is held. That means we have a conference where I am there, the teacher who actually asks for the review of placement is there, and parents are there, and we're all talking about what we can actually do to support the student, because this is not the first time that you would hear from that teacher. The teacher would maintain contact with parents so that you would be in the know, that you could talk about what you're doing with the child at home, and the teacher can talk about what they're doing to provide support and help at the school level. And the student can actually talk about their part, the part that they play in all of this, perseverance and task completion, getting assignments turned in on time. We're talking about budgeting that time effectively and efficiently. So everyone's a part of this process. What happens after the entire process, which begins in Decemberish, and usually ends around March? At the end, another conference is held, and that's where a decision is made about the student. If it's a state identified student, about a more stringent, strong, firm, concrete, structured plan moving forward with steps in place and benchmarks. And if it is a high achieving student, we'll start talking about, okay, maybe this is not the best fit. But that would all take place during the end of year conference, once again, with all the stakeholders, everyone who's involved in making that decision. Communication, huge, one of our district's curriculum and instruction goals. How could we communicate with parents to make sure that you remain in the know? The first would be the GT newsletter, which is called Gifted Nation. You notice one of our former teachers of the year, she's on the call tonight, Mrs. Benton. She was my very first official toy or teacher of the year for gifted and talented. So yes, and I'm so happy to still have her with us. So I wanted to make sure to put that clipping in here. So you will have an e-newsletter that you receive each month, but your teachers may offer other newsletters. They may do something weekly or an announcement in Canvas so you can see what's happening with their group and their class because they're so proud of their kiddos. But this would be from the Gifted and Talented office. It's Gifted Nation. And then you could also use email. Some of you are doing that. Great. So far, you're using that email, and that's awesome. Also, Canvas announcements. Students are accustomed to this by now. Teachers are placing announcements in Canvas. Parents should have access to always just check your child's Canvas page and find out what's new or what's happening. Now, right now, these are the top three. Phone calls, great. Teachers will reach out to you. You will be able to call and hopefully catch them in between classes or during their office hours. But if you email and just say, could you give me a call? Then they pick up that phone and give you a call, especially my itinerant teachers. They may be a little tough to contact because they're working at a site that does not have an official main office receptionist. However, we can get you in touch with the teacher as long as you use that email, and they'll get right back with you as quickly as they can. All right, so to move into the rest of our presentation, I'm going to have my lead teachers come and share with you some additional information. I'm going to mute my mic. At this time, we will have our first presenter, and that is Mrs. April Smith.
Hello again, everyone. I'm going to talk about the special class model. And to define the special class model, gifted and talented students are exposed to an advanced curriculum, higher levels of thinking, and the opportunity to work with their academic peers. In Orangeburg County School District special class models, the classes consist of students who are state identified, as Ms. Hollington spoke about earlier, and our high achieving students or local identified students as deemed necessary. The high achievers and their parents must sign a trial placement agreement, and this goes back to what Ms. Hollington was saying about the 1 year. The students are together in all of their core classes. According to the South Carolina Gifted and Talented Best Practices Manual 2006, school districts must provide a curriculum for academically gifted and talented students that is designed to support their unique characteristics and needs. The special class allows teachers the opportunity to go deeper and faster in the curriculum. For our county school district, we offer the following William and Mary units, which are English language arts units, mentoring mathematical minds, also known as Jacob's Ladder Reading Comprehension Program, Junior Great Books Roundtable, and also Michael Clay Thompson Resources, which is developing verbal talent. At this time in our district, we currently only have one elementary school with the special class model, and that is Edisto Elementary School. And we have two middle schools with the special class model, Carver Edisto Middle School and William J. Clark Middle School. As Ms. Hollington said earlier, if you have any questions or if you just want to know something about your child's profile sheet, you can contact me at april.smith@ocsdsc.org or 531-7646, and my extension is 1651. And now to speak about the Pullout model class is Miss Audrey Irick.
Great. The Pullout class model is one that I currently serve children using. It provides services to identify students through a self-contained class that meets away from the regular classroom. In this model, gifted and talented students are removed from the regular classroom for a specified period each week to receive differentiated instruction. And there are lovely little Bowman kids right there. The curriculum usually focuses on enrichment that is directly related to grade level academic standards. Multi-grade grouping may be used in the Pullout class to constitute classes of sufficient size. The criteria we're using this year. This year's students who have met the state criteria are being served throughout Orangeburg County. Did you guys know that we have 11 schools being served this year, which include Bethune-Bowman, Brookdale, Dover, Ellery, Holly Hill, Hunter, Kynard, Tyler, Lockett, Marshall, Mellichamp, Sheridan, and St. James Gilliard. And that was Lockett Elementary back there on the other picture. We also have some middle schools, which are Bethune-Bowman, Branchville, Ellery, Holly Hill Roberts, Hunter Kynard Tyler, North Middle, and Robert E. Howard Middle Schools. And now Amanda Steinmetz will delve further into the Pullout Classroom.
Good evening, everyone. This year, grades 3 through 7 will receive services virtually through Canvas as our learning management system. Students will have synchronous sessions as well as asynchronous assignments to complete during that time. Itinerant teachers will have daily scheduled class times ordered by school and by grade level to support students virtually. Itinerant teachers will use Microsoft Teams for video conferencing with students as well as parents. Our curriculum this year consists of STEAM units, which STEAM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, Art, and Math. We will have Caesar's English along with Word Within the Word for middle school, academic writing, as well as test prep. In order to challenge and differentiate the curriculum for gifted learners, we will base curriculum on student interest as well as the student's needs or strengths. We will increase students' critical and creative thinking through purposeful curriculum. We will prepare them to design projects and effectively prepare engaging lessons with the gifted mind. This year, we will also attend virtual field studies, invite guest speakers to enhance our curriculum, expose students to a variety of careers, especially in the area of STEAM, and above all, have fun. If you have any questions about the Pullout class model, you can contact myself or Miss Audrey Irick at 803-534-5454, extension 8311. Miss Irick's email address is audrey.irick@ocsdsc.org. My phone number is 803-534-5454, extension 8350. And you can contact me at amanda.steinmetz@ocsdsc.org. And now to speak about academic competitions is our very own Mr. John Ott.
Thank you, Ms. Steinmetz. I'm excited to be announcing an opportunity which will be exclusively offered to gifted and talented students in Orangeburg County. We're going to have an SAT, PSAT tutoring program. Your tutor will have achieved a perfect reading SAT score and his experience as an SAT tutor. He's a graduate of the Governor School with a master's in gifted and talented education from Converse College. And I know him well because he's me. And I'm dedicated to building a high-tech virtual environment. So I love technology and I'm looking forward to using it for SAT tutoring. I'm also the head of academic competitions for the district. We'll be doing, we're going to have the Scholastic Writing Awards for students who love writing. So if your student loves writing essays or poems or short stories, they'll definitely love that. We're going to have some, or we hope to have some international academic competitions for students who love history and geography. And this organization has had several online competitions, so that would be great. And we're also going to do Meridian Stories, which is a short film contest for students who love STEAM, for students who love language arts, history, and making movies. Okay, and now to talk a little bit about creative competitions, Ms. Tamu Nilanti.
Great job, great job. Okay, so the creative competitions that we have this year, for sure there are going to be two. And the first one, it's the first Lego League. And it introduces science, technology, engineering, and math to children ages 4 through 14 through fun, exciting, hands-on learning. Now, participants gain real-world problem-solving experiences through a guided global robotics program, helping today's students and teachers build a better future together. First, Lego League's 3 divisions inspire youth to experiment and grow their critical thinking, coding, and design skills through hands-on STEM learning and robotics. And currently, I'm teaching robotics at William J. Clark, so a lot of my class students, I hopefully will join that program. Now, the second one is the Odyssey of the Mind, and it's students work in teams of up to 7 members under the guidance of an adult coach. The teams spend weeks or a month at their own pace, working together and creating solutions to solve long-term problems. Every year, there are 6 long-term problems designed for vehicle technical, literature, structure, performance, and primary categories. Sorry. Coaches may help teach skills and educate the team on ways to approaching the problem and of evaluating their solution, but will not solve the problem for their team. Now, both of these are also going to be offered online as well as in person when things go back to normal, because they will eventually. So we have the plus about that. Now, the other future endeavors that we're looking forward to doing will be the STEM Fair, MLK oratorical competition, as well as the Math Bowl. And listed below, if you have any questions or any other ideas, please feel free to contact myself at 803-531-2200, extension 8119. And my email is tamu.niilampti, because I know you're going to butcher the pronunciation, at ocsdsc.org. Or you can reach John Ott, and his number is 803-534-5454, extension 8312. And his email is john.ott@ocsdsc.org. All right.
Thank
Back
you
to you,
so
Ms.
much.
Hallington. All
Thank you
right.
so much, Ms. Neelamti. Excellent job. Remember, one of our goals was to increase the offerings for academic and creative competitions this year for our students. They can learn a whole lot, but we need them to show what they have learned, and they have what it takes to compete against other districts, against other states. And I should have allowed Ms. Neelamti to talk just a little bit about World Finals. I had that experience when we first began doing Odyssey of the Mind a few years ago. And then I passed the baton to Ms. Neelamti, who took it and just ran with it. Ms. Neelamti, can you talk just a little bit about your Odyssey of the Mind experience?
Odyssey of the Mind is great, just for lack of a better adjective. It's unreal. We were blessed to have a team from Clark go to the finals as well, and they competed against every country. It was a great international situation. Just to see so many children of different backgrounds, it was unreal, you guys. And it's something that, I think that our kids most definitely will do well in, if we push it. So looking forward to that this year.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ms. Neelamti.
Mhm.
The kids like to travel too and compete, so that will be great. And Mr. Ott, they're gung ho, they're ready. So just whoever's interested, kids, if you're out there, parents, you can give them that little push. That's our theme this year, right, team? Push, that little push that's going to make them reach for their greatest, their best, highest potential. Okay, we have Miss Andres Carter Sims with us presently. I'm going to be able to take your questions if you want to place them in the chat. Um, or, yeah, I think the chat would be the best since we have so many in attendance. I'm going to end the PowerPoint. But before I do that, I want to remind you that we are one, and this is across the county. When I think gifted, I think Orangeburg County. Thank you so much for attending. There are so many things that we can't share yet because they're in development. You know, you don't share things when you're working on them while you're molding and shaping and tearing away layers and asking for advice from the more expert others. You keep those things under wraps until it's time to reveal them. But trust me, gifted ed is not being left in the freezer or on the side. It is being addressed head on, looked into, examined, and we're going to grow it to where we know it can actually be to serve our students, our kids in the best ways possible. I am Priscilla Hollington. Again, I am the coordinator for gifted programs in Orangeburg County School District. You may contact me at priscilla.hollington@ocsdsc.org, or at area code 803-534-8081, extension 1110. So you would want to try your lead teachers first. However, they will refer you to me if it's something that's not in their sphere. They will share that information with me, and I will get with you as soon as I possibly can. We are here to serve the gifted community in Orangeburg County. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get Miss Carter Sims here. Of course, the weather caught her, and she was unable to be with us earlier because the storm knocked out her internet service. Um, okay. I don't know. I think, can anyone, let me have one person to unmute. Mrs. Irick, can you see the chat?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So that chat option or feature had one person texting that they could not see the chat. So if you have a question, I have Miss Steinmetz, who's looking at the chat for me. Prior to that, prior to questions, I want to have Mrs. Andres Carter Sims, the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction for Orangeburg County Schools. I would like to have her just say a few words. Ms. Carter Sims.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so very much, Ms. Hollington, and thank you to your awesome team of teachers who are providing quality instruction. And I love it, the word push, and I did have the opportunity to hear some of the awesome programs that are there. I'd just like to thank the 60 participants that are actually on this call and hearing all of the wonderful things that are occurring. As Ms. Hollington has said, please reach out to the teachers if you need any additional information. And we are just looking forward to the Gifted and Talented program in Orangeburg County School District growing. And so we want you to see between now and the end of the year that awesome things are going to occur. And I hope that we will take advantage of Odyssey of the Minds, of the ACT, SAT tutoring. There are just some wonderful things that are occurring. And teachers, you all are just absolutely awesome. And we can't wait to see the great things that you all are going to do. That's right. I see the clapping and the wonderful unity. So you all are really awesome and you're very much appreciated. And we look forward to what you're going to do for the students. So we want everybody pushing, and I will do everything that I can as well to push. So just thank you so much. I am grateful for what you're doing for our stakeholders.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Carter Sims. And she is an advocate for all children, and that includes the gifted ones. And we appreciate her so much for everything that she's done for us behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, behind the cameras. You guys don't see I'm using that, but we appreciate your help and your support in everything that you're doing for curriculum and instruction. Thank you, parents. I heard that there was not an option for chat. So what we're going to do is, please, if you have a question, one person at a time can unmute. I see Miss Patrick, one of my faithful and true parents, and Madison. So let's start with Miss Shay Patrick.
It's actually Mr. Patrick
Oh,
tonight.
how are you doing, Mr. Patrick? It's so good to see you.
You as well. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much.
Great. Quick question. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Did I understand correctly that the GT students at the Edisto school are grouped in their classroom with other GT students?
Yes, they are because of their numbers. And actually, that is true for William J. Clark as well. It's another
Right.
special class model. It's all dependent on how many state identified students we actually have at a location, whereas Pullout is working for our schools that have lower populations of gifted students. You may have one at one school, two at another, and they're miles apart. You may have five at another site. We're continually looking at enrollment, Mr. Patrick, to make sure that if we have a school or if we have a number of state identified students at a school, which I have one right now in mind, that's high enough that we could actually put a special class model in place at that site. It just couldn't happen this year because, COVID changed our worlds a little bit, but we're still looking at the numbers, and I see a couple opportunities where special class will come into play. And as I stated earlier, there are other plans in place we cannot discuss at all or disclose because as you're working towards something, you just can't share all the details ahead of time. But we are keeping an eye on it. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So is there an option then? Because personally and from my own experience, I think that grouping is far superior to the pull-out model. Can I transfer my child into the Edisto school? I'm willing to drive them out there because that's a far superior educational opportunity than the pull-out model.
I cannot answer that question for you, Mr. Patrick, but I can speak with you a little bit later once I talk with who my partners are.
Perfect.
Okay. Who was it? Madison? Madison Dunham? Maybe you're muted.
The question was already answered.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Madison. Are there any other questions? I see Ms. Steinmetz is actually looking for hands. I can't see everyone.
We had a question from Ashlyn Hughes.
Ashlyn?
Is the GT program, I mean, not the GT program, the oratory competition, is it still for only 4th and 5th grade?
Well, that's a great question, Ashlyn. The details are being worked out by Student Services. We do not have a guaranteed start date when they're going to revamp that. As soon as we receive information, that's why it was on the other competitions list. If it starts again and it's up and running, we'll let you know. But you know that previously it was for 5th grade students. Correct me if I'm making a mistake, Mrs. Irick, because you had a couple of students who participate in the MLK oratorical competition. 5th grade. That's correct, right? So it was, I'm thinking that it would remain that way. There was a purpose, there was a method to the madness. So there was a reason it was for 5th grade students. I'm assuming that would remain the same, but we don't know certainty with the certainty yet that we can give you an answer. But that's an awesome competition, great opportunity for 5th grade students. Thank you, Ashlyn. Ms. Brunson?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The math bowl that y'all mentioned before, is that something that the student has to request to be a part of? Or how does that work? Because we've never done those things before.
John?
Oh, I can answer it. Math Bowl was on the list as well as another competition, and we've done it a couple of ways with the district. One time we did it as a whole at OW, where we did it when I think before we consolidated it, and we've done it also at Clark, where it was statewide. So we're just going to have to do a little more research and just figure out, what we want to do with it. But all options, if you have some ideas, please, just reach out and let us know. But we haven't decided yet, just based on, who's offering virtual or who's not, on how we're going to do that math bowl.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that my daughter would have the opportunity to do it if she wanted to.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Okay.
And
all right. Thank
we'll
you.
be sending out emails as well.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ms. Brunson. That was a great question. I'm glad that we have some interest already in the competitions. I know John and Tamu are excited about that. Okay. Any other questions? Amanda, Ms. Black? Amanda Black, thank you. My people are helping me. They're sending texts. They're letting me know if there's a question.
Good evening. My question is, are competitions open to all grade levels, or are they reserved for the upper grades?
It's a good question. I want to say it depends on the competition, but go ahead, John.
That's exactly right. Some of the competitions are only open to certain grades, but every grade will have opportunities for competition.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, and I see some hands are still up, but I think we answered the questions for Ms. Black, Mr. Patrick, Ashlyn, and Ms. Brunson. Are there any other questions for the good of the group? All right. I love those questions, especially when Mr. Patrick came and tried to advocate for kids. I love it. Parents advocating, teachers advocating, all educators for gifted education. Bear in mind that we did discuss, I see you, Mr. John, we did discuss enrollment and capacity in the classrooms. So where there's a special class model, there's limited capacity because we already have students who are placed there for the year. So we bear and keep that in mind as well when we're talking about making decisions and best choices, best decisions for your learner, gifted learner. Mr. John.
Hey, Miss Hollington, Mrs. John.
Oh, is this Mrs. Tarlette?
Yes, ma'am, but no, the Mr. is beside me as well.
I got you. How are you all doing?
Doing great. I have a question about the the transition for the GT students that are transitioning from elementary to the middle school.
Mhm.
And I know it's a little different right now for them with the virtual, making the best of it, of course. But will there be, I guess, I don't want to say tutoring, but study sessions and different opportunities as they continue to transition to this different, it's totally different in middle school, of course. But are there any outside opportunities that will be offered for them in the transition?
Now, that is one thing that I would have to leave to the teachers who are at those sites, but I will tell you this, there has not been something outside of what I've noticed as teachers offering extra help on those days or during times when they don't have a synchronous um, lesson going on. A lot of teachers having office hours, so to speak, so that they can provide support and extra help for their students. I've noted that, but I can tell you that I have not, to my knowledge, seen something that's sort of like an after school program. And I want to say that there are limitations on what can be done because of the whole virtual guidelines that were sent down from our State Department and best practices for virtual learning for our students at this time. You see, we have 30-minute courses, elementary, middle, high schools, about 45-minute courses or sessions. So that's individual. All of that to say, I just know that teachers have been doing that. I don't know that there's something that has been put in place that's wholesale, like everyone gets after school tutoring from this time to this time, or support for sixth graders who are new to the middle school setting. And it is because, as you said, COVID just changed how we did everything. But teachers are making their best efforts to support students when they need it, even if it's outside of the regular face-to-face virtual class time. Ms. John, I know that may not be the best answer for you,
No,
but
that's great.
okay. And
I
we're,
did just want to throw out there,
okay, go ahead,
Hollington,
Ms.
because
Millian.
because I'm at Clark. I know on Wednesdays, Ms. Sean, we really, if we see a child is having issues, we take that C day very seriously. So we've been having a lot of Wednesdays that we use for extra, whatever our sixth graders most definitely might need. So, and if anybody's babies, that's for anybody whose parents are out here and their kids are struggling, please just reach out to us. And we can do as much as we can. And Wednesdays, it's a great option. And even, I don't want to speak for other teachers, but I know GT at Clark, we'll do that 10 through 1. We'll accommodate parents. So, just reach out to us and we'll be more than willing to help.
Thank you, Tamu, because I
Thanks,
totally
Mr.
forgot about the C Day, and C Day is there. Thank you, Tamu.
Mm-hmm.
Great team members, great minds. Okay, other questions? I still see some hands up, but I think they just remained. Okay, we're approaching that hour mark. You see anything else, Ms. Steinmetz?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'm thinking that's it for this parent night, but look forward to some other sessions where I love the questions where you can be open and honest with us. If I have an answer, I'll provide it for you. If I don't have an answer, I can't pretend that I have one. So I'll tell you, I do not know the answer. I can only share what I do know. Thank you for coming out tonight, being open, being advocates for gifted and talented education. Know there are great plans in the works. Thank you, all of my teachers who were not speaking tonight, but you're here from Clark and Edisto and Carver Edisto and Holly Hill Roberts and St. James and Melisham. I mean, everyone from everywhere where we have giftedness. If I didn't call your school out, I didn't forget you were here. That you are here with us. So before you leave, you can even give us a shout out and let us know which school you're representing, Gifted Ed. And then we'll call it a good night. Thank you.
Latoya Miller. I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to call out my people from my school because they weren't going to speak.
I saw Caroline there and Ashley.
Go ahead, Miss Miller.
I was just going to announce Latoya Miller, 8th grade, William J. Clark Middle School. Woohoo!
Noah Summers, Lockett Elementary.
I know.
Yes.
Woo, woo. Who else is in the house? I see Lisa Benton has a hand up. Ooh, Miss Benton, go ahead. You can ask whatever you want or say whatever.
No, I'm great. I am so enthused with what I've seen tonight. This is excellent. So thank you, Lisa Benton from William J. Clark.
Love you, Miss Benton.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Veronica Frazier from St. James Gilliard Elementary.
All right, Miss Frazier.
Hi.
Kavita Ratinam from Colorado District Middle School. I teach Algebra 1 honors. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Ratinam.
Jalea Robinson from middle school.
Hey, Miss
Aaron, I'm about to say mine.
Hi, Jalea.
Hey, Miss Robinson.
Hey, Miss Millhouse.
Hello, Lynette Millhouse from WJ Clark.
All
right.
Hey.
Aaron.
Woo. Love it. I see Patricia Hampton. She let Jalea on just now. Who's that?
Yes, Patricia Hampton represent those cool girls.
Hey, lady.
Hi.
All right, Hampton. I see Dr. Glover here.
Hey,
Yes, you know the champions are always in the place. And I do want to say thank you all. I absolutely love GT as a parent and administrator, and I thank you for all your hard work. And if you ever need a place for a GT full model, please check out Millisham. We're always welcome and open. And thank you, Ms. D. Brown Johnson. We love you and we appreciate it.
And I love you all too. I
Put
love
her plug
you
in
all
for
too.
Mellisham. Put her plug in for Mellisham. You heard that, everybody. Awesome. Thank you.
This is Willie Berry, mother of Braden Berry from Brookdale Elementary, where the eagles soar high.
All right, Miss Berry. It's so good to hear from you. How's Braden?
He's having a great time with this virtual learning.
Oh, awesome. He's going to do well. I'm not worried about it. Hey, Braden.
Braden? He's somewhere in the background.
Okay. All right, Mom. Thank you for giving us that shout out. Do we have anyone else in the house? Any other schools? I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah. Miss Fox from St. James Gilliard Elementary, and I'm a parent as well.
I know, Miss Fox.
Glad to see you, ladies and gentlemen.
Michelle.
Bella. Are you doing, Miss
Bella
Fox?
somewhere hiding. She don't want her face to be shown.
That's all right. Now, we've had Bella for a minute. She's been with us for a good minute. So we don't mind. Bye. Anyone else?
Hey, Mrs. Hollington.
Who is this?
Hayward John here.
I know that voice. I know that voice.
On behalf of the Department of Student Services, we want to say great meeting, great job, and all the teachers are doing. I'm been going around places, seeing the teachers working real hard on all levels for giving the talented students. Thank you, great meeting. And we're looking forward to partnering with your department to do some great things for all our students this school year. So keep up the great work, everyone. Good job, parents and teachers and students.
Thank you, Mr. Jean. Always a supporter. Always a supporter. Thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, guys. I think that may be all the shout outs. Okay. Awesome meeting. Have a great night. Be safe out there. My teachers can fall back and stay for just a moment.